With Verdansk returning in just 1 week, we finally got all the information we needed. I'm talking about the return of classic weapons, new updates to Verdansk, and plenty more. Not gonna lie to you guys, this looks awesome. So in case you missed it, there was some breaking news. Season 3 of Black Ops 6 will officially launch on April 2nd, so they moved it forward by 1 day, while the Warzone Return of Verdansk update will still remain on April 3rd. Now there's a reason why they did that, we'll talk about later in this video. So the blog post they gave us about the return of Verdansk has been divided into 4 parts. We have part 1, which is rebuilding Verdansk from the ground up. Basically they start from scratch and rebuild Verdansk just as we know it and we love it. 95% of the new Verdansk will be the same as the OG Verdansk, with the remaining 5% updated to make sure that it fits the 2025 visual graphics, gameplay mechanics and all that good stuff. So pretty much you don't have to worry about anything because this is gonna be the same OG Verdansk from March 2020 Verdansk when it first launched. And just as you have been seeing this image, you can see the massive difference in the details, the graphics, the lightings from the original Verdansk to the new Verdansk. I mean, there are so many improvements. For example, we have the enhanced topographic just like we're seeing, we have the enhanced details in every single aspect of the buildings, the walls, the rocks, trees, everything. Okay, we've also have some improved access areas. Now you can access some areas that in the original Verdansk you couldn't, and they go and say that they've enhanced details pretty much everywhere. Okay, everywhere in the map has been enhanced, which is just absolutely amazing. And speaking about one of the major changes is actually the coast point of interest where Bankanan was located. Now there is a new southern shoreline. Of course in the original Verdansk you couldn't swim, but with the new mechanics with Black Ops 6, so the water area is now accessible. You can swim in it, whether to flank enemies or traverse the map or get out of dodge when you get fired at. Basically the new southern shoreline is a new area, a new water area that you can swim through it. Continue with that, they go and say that trees have been updated, parked vehicles have been updated, they've added more cover throughout the entire map so you can traverse the map without being caught in wide open spaces. Also the rocket terrain, or where the small hill was, has been made easier to mantle and traverse that area. As you guys remember, before it was a bit difficult from mantling, trying to climb up rocks and all that. Also one of the biggest features that was removed has been added back now, and that is the free fall shooting. Yes, now as you are falling from the plane you can actually shoot enemies just like the original Verdansk. I don't understand why that was removed in the first place. What matters is that it is returned now, and that is absolutely awesome. Doors have also been updated. Now you can barge through them, you can shoot them open, and they open both ways. The exterior and interior lighting has been adjusted to make it more realistic and all that good stuff. And to finish off with part 1 of this blog, the user interface has also been simplified. Now let's move on to part 2 of the blog, which is all about the Warzone features. First of all, we of course have the Omni Movement feature from Black Ops 6 multiplayer making its way into Warzone, but with a twist. The Warzone Omni Movement will not work the same exact way as it does in Black Ops 6 multiplayer. No, Omni Movement in Warzone has been adjusted, and this is only exclusive for Warzone. Okay, basically they have updated the Omni Movement feature to make it somewhat feel like it is the original movement system from the original Verdansk. But don't worry, you can still sprint and dive in all the directions. It's still the same Omni Movement feature. Simply they have reduced the speed of Omni Movement so it actually fits the map Verdansk, and it won't be the same to how currently players play Warzone and Black Ops 6 multiplayer with a crazy movement and all that. The Warzone Omni Movement feature will be much slower and feel like the original Verdansk movement. Moving on from that, the return of Verdansk will also see the return of 150 players. Yes, in Nolga will be 100 players, but no, we're back to 150 players, all dropping into Verdansk to become the last operator standing. Alongside that, we also have the return of the original announcer. As you guys know, the iconic voice that would shout at you whenever something happens, he is returning. That is a big W. Then, like I mentioned already, we have shooting during free for all. That is back, amazing feature. And also we have the original infill and exfil cinematic. Alongside all of that, we also have the return of the original supply boxes. I'm talking about the colors, the sound effects and all that. And like we already know, we have the return of the floating loot. That's awesome. Also the original armor satchel will be making its return. Next up we have the buy stations. The original buy station inventory will be returning. So basically everything that you could buy from the original buy stations will be added into the new buy stations in Verdansk. And also it's going to be the original buy station placements, which means the buy station locations in the new Verdansk will be in the same exact spot as the OG Verdansk was. Now I'm not gonna lie to you guys, that's such a small feature, but still a very important feature to make it feel just like I was in the original Verdansk. Also the specialist perk will be returned in the mid-season update. We move on to the equipment, the tacticals, lethals and all that good stuff. We of course gonna have the return of the munitions box, heartbeat sensor, deployable cover, the decontamination station, the trophy system, the loadout drop marker, the armor box and the recon drone. For kill streaks we have the UAV and the advanced UAV. We have the precision airstrike, the cluster strike and the bunker buster. And for the equipment we have the flashbang, smoke grenade, concussion grenade, decoy grenade, snapshot grenade, stim, frag grenade, semtex, C4, spring mine, molotov, and finally throwing knife. But that's not it, because you can add a returning lethal, and that is none other than thermite. Yes, the thermite will be finally making its way back into Warzone. That is very cool. Next up, let's talk about the contracts. All the contracts from the original Verdansk will be returned in the new Verdansk. Currently, we of course have the Bounty, Most Wanted, and Scavenger. They'll be returned in Verdansk, but the returning original contracts from the original Verdansk are gonna be Recon, Supply Run, the Contract Multiplayer, Big Game Bounty, and finally the Recon, which is gonna be the train. That'll be arriving in mid-season. We also have the return of the original in-match public events, like the Fire Sale, the Jailbreak, the Loadout Drop, and the Restock. And of course, how can we talk about Verdansk without ever mentioning the original Gulag? As already confirmed, the original Showers Gulag will be returning in Verdansk, and not only that, but also the Capture the Flag Gulag variant will be returning. In case the Gulag match has gone to overtime and nobody has eliminated each other, you can capture the flag to win the Gulag. Now let's move on and talk about the vehicles. All vehicles with the return of Verdansk have been rebalanced, and just like the buy stations, all the vehicle locations will be the same exact locations as it appeared in the original Verdansk. Alongside that, the tire punctures have been removed and fuel refilling has been removed. Basically, just like I was in the original Verdansk, each vehicle has a health meter, and when it reaches 0, it simply explodes. And as one of the topic of vehicles, we have the return of the iconic heli. Yes, the original design and everything, the original helicopter is back. To be honest with you guys, that is simply a massive W. Next up, we have the map interactive elements. For example, the train station interior will be accessible starting mid-season, along with a surprise or two. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm excited to see what the surprises are. Also, the original moving train will be available mid-season. As you guys remember, in the original Verdansk, we had the moving train. That will be returning as well. And also, there is an interior access of a point of interest that has been redacted. So unfortunately, we don't exactly know what these locations are. Maybe I'm saying maybe the bunkers, they could be opened. I don't know, maybe the bunkers, maybe something else. But we will definitely know for sure come the mid-season update. Moving on from that, we also have the quality of life improvements. First of all, we of course have the original vertical buy station menu, just like I was in the original Verdansk. Also, now you can squad redeploy, so instead of going to each member of your squad and redeploying one by one, now if you have enough money, you can simply press X or square to redeploy all your squad members. That will definitely come in handy. Also, for the first time in Warzone, now you can actually view attachments by inspecting weapons. So for example, let's say you end up eliminating an enemy, he had a very overpowered weapon. You pick up that weapon, you inspect the weapon, and on the bottom right hand of the screen, it will show you exactly each attachment that it was using and what weapon that is. That is again definitely going to be an awesome feature. Alongside that, there's also the new detailed death recap widget feature, which once you get eliminated, it will tell you if you were affected by a life ping, affected by UAV, or even if you are affected by an unsuppressed weapon. Again, basically giving you more information on how you ended up getting killed. Again, this is a massive W because I can definitely see it coming in handy. And to finish off with part 2 of the Warzone blog, we have the secrets of Verdansk redacted content. Basically, throughout Verdansk, there'll be many hidden Easter eggs. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it's gonna be very cool trying to figure out all the Easter eggs that are hidden in Verdansk once it returns. This is definitely gonna be awesome. But with all that being said, now let's move on to part 3, which is gonna be the maps, modes, events, and the weapon details. Obviously, when it comes to maps, we have the return of Verdansk. That's what we've been talking about for the past week and a half. But alongside Verdansk, we'll also begin the return of Rebirth Island, available at the launch window, so about a week or week and a half after the launch of Verdansk. Moving on from that, we have all the confirmed game modes. First of all, we of course have the 150 player Battle Royale on Verdansk. Alongside that, we also have the new Battle Royale Casual Verdansk available at launch, which will be 148 players but a mix of players and bots, 28 players and up to 120 bots. Also, the fan favorite Plunder with 100 players will be returning on Verdansk at launch. Moving on from that, we also have the Warzone Bootcamp. It will be available with up to 44 players, 12 humans, 32 bots. We also have the return of Resurgence on Rebirth Island available at launch window. Like we already mentioned, it will be up to 44 players. And for those of you that enjoy competitive play, get excited because Battle Royale ranked play on Verdansk will be available come mid-season. That's gonna be absolutely amazing. Also expect new mods to be coming in the mid-season update, with the one already mentioned being the High Trip, which is going to be a 420 game mode. Then we have a Warzone exclusive event called the Return of Verdansk. It will be available from April 3rd all the way until April 15th with 20 total free rewards. You'll have to find the hidden safes, unlock them so you can get those rewards. As you guys can see in front of you right now, these are the 6 rewards that you can instantly unlock simply by logging into Call of Duty Warzone when it launches. We have the brand new Kilo 141 assault rifle. We have the original classic operators of Demo and Milsim USEF. And for the veteran Warzone players, you'll also be unlocking Contrail Blue Legacy, the Parachute Coming Home, and finally the gun screen like we never left. Moving on, next up we have the return of the OG iconic weapons. First of all, we have none other than the Kilo 141 assault rifle. It will be available at launch, and in order to unlock the Kilo 141 you don't have to do anything apart from launch Warzone once Season 3 launches on April 2nd. Now you won't be able to play Warzone because the servers will be shut down for a full day until April 3rd in preparation for Verdansk, but simply launch Warzone. Even though you cannot play, just launch it and you will be awarded the Kilo 141 automatically. Moving on from that, our second weapon is going to be the CR56 AMAX. It will be available at launch via the Battle Pass page 6. Then we move on to our third weapon, which is going to be the HDR Sniper, also available at launch via the Battle Pass page 3. And to finish off with the weapons, we'll be getting the return of the Kali sticks, also available at launch, but this will be unlocked via an event reward, the event that we just talked about, the return of Verdansk event. Now technically that would do it for the return weapons in Warzone. However, there is a fourth weapon return, but this isn't considered as a brand new weapon. No, it's actually a conversion kit for the SWAT 556 battle rifle, which will turn it into the GROW. So yes, the GROW will be returned, but not as a brand new weapon, but as a conversion kit for the SWAT 556 battle rifle. So with all of that being said, that will do it for the part 3 of the blog. Now let's move on to talk about part 4, which is going to be preparation for the launch of Verdansk. As I mentioned earlier in the video, Season 3 will officially be launching on April 2nd at 9 AM Pacific time, but when it comes to Warzone and Verdansk, it will be launching on April 3rd, 9 AM Pacific time. So what will happen for that one full day? Well, the Warzone servers will be shut down. You cannot play Warzone. You can still access Warzone, so you can unlock the reward of the Kilo 141, but you cannot actually play Warzone. It will be shut down with a countdown timer counting 24 hours. But when it comes to multiplayer and zombies, everything's gonna be fine there. Season 3 will launch on April 2nd, you can start playing. And then once those 24 hours finish, it's April 3rd, 9 AM Pacific time. Warzone is back, Verdansk is back, everybody can start dropping on their favorite locations, whether it's the Superstore, Downtown Stadium. The original Verdansk will be officially back after 5 years. Man, oh man, absolutely amazing times. And yeah, that is everything that you need to know about the return of Verdansk, from the weapons, from the map changes, from the preparation for the launch of Verdansk and all of that good stuff. This is everything that you needed to know about the return of Verdansk. However, there is a bonus thing for everybody that stayed up to this point right here. Treyarch did confirm that for multiplayer, the iconic Black Ops 1 map Fun Range will be back in Season 3. And what I want from you guys that stayed up to this point, make sure to comment Fun Range in the comment section down below to confuse everybody that did not make it to this point. You guys are the real ones, you are the MVP. But with all that being said, make sure to click the video on the screen right now to watch me revisit Black Ops 2 in 2025. Thank you guys for watching this video.